Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is actually a PayPal request from Joseph. Thank you so much for that. And he wanted me to rank the Terminator films, which I thought was very interesting. I mean, if people are interested in requesting pretty much any type of stuff, you could send it directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. It doesn't just have to be reviews or re-reviews. It could be stuff like this or topics. Fine with that stuff too. Now, the Terminator films, I have reviewed all the Terminator films. They're on the channel. My favorite one, I mean, quick like the ranking from favorite to hated: Terminator, Terminator 2, Terminator Salvation, Terminator 3, Terminator Genisys, and Terminator Dark Fate. Now, the explanation of that ranking. The first Terminator I've always thought was the best. I always thought of it as my favorite because I love the horror tone. I love the horror feel. I love that the Terminator is like a slasher film, but a different type of a slasher film. At least that's the vibe I got out of it. And it's just merciless. It fits the title, Terminator. He's Terminator motherfuckers viciously. This is something that has no remorse, no pain, no fear. It will not stop until you are dead. You felt that in the first Terminator. You felt this oppressive atmosphere, not just in the future setting, but in the present setting, with the shootout in the nightclub and the police station massacre, and just how you just hear these cops just screaming for their lives, and you hear this pa 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 pa, while Linda Hamilton or someone else is hiding. They're just hearing this gunfire and this screaming of pain and death and horror of these cops, and Arnold just tearing these cops apart, not literally but figuratively. Or he's ready to punch a hole through someone like he does those punches early in the movie. Nothing clean, right? Nothing clean, right? And the score by Brad Fiedel reflects that edgy horror tone. And after that, it never went back to that. They always assume it needs to be this epic $100 million movie with this epic scope and epic this. I'm like, that's not what brought people to the show in the first place. That's not what made people fall in love with the Terminator. The Terminator doesn't have this grand fucking scope. It was a solid piece of filmmaking where a star-making turn by Arnold, who played the Terminator perfectly. You have some other good cast members like Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton and Paul Winfield and Lance Henriksen. Brief appearance by Bill Paxton in the beginning. And this unrelenting horror feel when Arnold's taking the eye out. Yeah, the effects look dated because the face is very moving stiffly. Of course, you could just chalk that up to, well, it is a robot. But still, it doesn't hold back on the violence. It doesn't hold back on the gruesomeness. It's not a splatter movie, but I'm just saying, it's not trying to pussy it out for families and kids and PG-13 and whatever the fuck, or a pussy R rating. But again, it's that horror feel that people forget that's what the Terminator was. Because T2 was such a massive hit, every movie wants to be T2. No movie wants to be T1. And that's what you see with later, so many of these really want to be Terminator 2. How about you try to be Terminator 1? Maybe that would change things. Lower your budget. Don't try to have this end-all be-all extravaganza blockbuster as if you think you're fucking Avengers. Terminator was never really about that. Now, the Terminator got a lot of mileage out of his low budget by showing a future war. But that was the backdrop. That wasn't the main piece de la resistance. Wasn't the main fucking Wasn't the turkey at Thanksgiving. It wasn't the main goal. It wasn't the main course. It was nice seasoning. The main course was his hunt. This Terminator doing what it does best. Terminating motherfuckers to get its target. And to show this unrelenting force. How dangerous. How nasty. How it will kill an innocent person just because it has the same fucking name. Oh, you Sarah Connor? Leave. Not give a fuck. Not give a shit. And Arnold played that cold resilience of a Terminator perfectly. Like I said, Brad Fidel's score. That's why to me the Terminator is the first one is still the best one. Now, second best is Terminator 2. And all you needed was 2 Terminator films. And with Terminator 2, I understand you didn't want to repeat the first one. Go a bit bigger, a little bit bolder in its scale. Grander in its scale, I should say. Not bolder, grander. I like Terminator 2. Granted, I did not put in my 100 favorite action films because there's 100 I like more than T2. It's not my top 10 favorite Terminator. Well, it would be Terminator. It's not even been 10. It's not in my top 10 favorite Schwarzenegger films because there's films I enjoy more than T2. But at the same time, I don't find much wrong with T2. Well directed by James Cameron. Great special effects. Cool ideas like the T-1000. Robert Patrick does a good job. It was interesting to see Arnold as a good Terminator face off against this evil Terminator that is more impressive in its abilities than the regular Terminator. The bond he has with John Connor, played, honestly, you would say it's, would I say it was Edward Furlong's best role? Yeah. What else am I going to say? His best acting role. Linda Hamilton, able to not just play the same character. She's more buffed out. She's more insane, but more driven, more determined. So definitely gave a different vibe to the character. Like, this is the next step for this character. The Terminator protecting this kid. You saw a little bit of lessening that horror tone. Well, a lot less. Just nowhere near a horror like the first one. But, okay, we're going to have the Terminator not kill people. Why? This is wrong. So you don't shoot him in the kneecaps. And then Arnold would never become that Terminator ever again. He never wanted to be an evil Terminator again. He was a good Terminator who at times would get sillier and sillier, and your first instance was in T2. It works fine in T2 when he's trying to smile, or like he gets the Gatling gun and he does smile, or he does the thumbs up. But people took that and they ran with it and they kind of fucked it up. Not kind of, they did. It's like they took, oh wow, he did a thumbs up. Oh, in Terminator 3, let's have him talk to the Hand. He did a smile, like a little smile when you got the Gatling gun. Okay, in Terminator Genisys, was it Genisys? Let's have a police lineup, and Arnold's like, give me a fucking break. Or let's have Arnold's Terminator be a goddamn, what was he, a decorator in Dark Fate? He did wallpaper. I forgot what the fuck his job was. Like, they went too far with it. But you saw some of that in Terminator 2. That's one of the few things why I like the Terminator, the number 1, more than 2. But the action scenes are well handled. The score by Brad Fidel, once again, is solid. The acting, Joel Morton, like, everyone does a good job. But Terminator 2 is one of those films that everyone always talks about T2. When I was a kid, everyone would want to talk about T2, and I would want to talk about Rambo 2. I would want to talk about Predator 2. I would want to talk about Hard Target. I want to talk about Universal Soldier. I want to talk about other action films. No, we got to talk about T2. It's like, part of my brain's like, well, fuck T2. I'm tired of talking about T2. Tired of hearing about T2. Kind of that mindset. I know that doesn't make sense, but you You have those films that you think is a sincerely good film, but you fucking tired of people talking about it, so that it makes you kind of like the film less, even though it's not because of the film itself. That might not be fair, but that's me being honest. I like T2, but there are other Arnold films I like more. I like Predator more. I like End of Days more. Yes, I'd rather see Arnold go to the devil and say, "You want to fuck with me? You're a fucking wild boy," compared to him shooting kneecaps. In End of Days, he shoots the fucking devil in the face with a goddamn grenade launcher. I'd rather watch that. So I like T2. It's the last good Terminator film. Well, the last great Terminator. It's the last good one. Well, I don't mind the next ranked Terminator Salvation. I liked it. It's flawed. Midge was not the best director to get. Christian Bale seems like a good cast for John Connor, but the way it was portrayed, in a way he almost wasn't the star of the film, and having to share with Sam Worthington's character. At the same time, compared to the other Terminator films, I liked that it did take place in the future war. I didn't mind some of the action sequences involved with it. Anton Yelchin as a young Kyle Reese I thought worked rather well. Sam Worthington I don't think was bad in the role. They kind of made his character more interesting than John Connor, which was a mistake. And then again, Christian Bale, if you told me I'm going to have Christian Bale as John Connor, I'd be like, okay. But just, again, the way the character was portrayed, the way the character was written, the way that the voice is like, he's trying to do his Batman voice, and there's a lot of flaws with Terminator Salvation, but I can't sit here and say I hate it. I don't hate Terminator Salvation. I think there's a lot more they could have done with it, but at least that, compared to the other ones, was a lot less embarrassing. And that's a movie I don't remember a lot of goofy, stupid fucking humor. Unlike the other ones I'll talk about. So Terminator Salvation, that's the other Terminator film I can deal with. I can watch. So those three I can deal with. The other three, Terminator 3, granted, it's not as embarrassing as the next two I'll talk about, but you still have Arnold talk to the hand. You still have a fact, well, okay, I guess Terminator 2 didn't fucking matter. Fate is what we make. No, bullshit. You can't escape fate. So that just completely went against what the fuck Terminator 2's whole point was. Which, I don't know why they went in that direction. Because we need a Terminator film. No, you didn't. It's because Arnold saw that his films were bombing, and he knew he was getting older, so he was going to go into office, so he thought maybe I'll end it with a bang. So I'll end it with Terminator 3. Technically what brought you to the dams was Conan the Barbarian, but I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to do another Terminator film. Maybe that'll be my last film. It'll be this grandiose movie that it ends with the world being destroyed, but then humanity's going to go on. That'll lead to the future war and whatever. Nick Stahl did good as John Connor. A female Terminator, I don't mind. The idea is fine, but after the T-1000, they could never find another Terminator that was as interesting for a villain. The only bit of the villain in T3 I can remember caring about is she controls other vehicles, and only because it culminated in a very exciting action sequence. I'll say that's a really good action scene where all these vehicles are being controlled and Arnold's on top of some, and that's a really fun action scene. And there's other fun action scenes too. There's the bit where Arnold gets that big old heavy machine gun and fucks up a practically done giant, like, robotic I don't know what the hell you call that. I forget the exact term it's used. Other than the action sequences, though, it was just a story that I thought was really unneeded. It's a very unneeded story. Yeah, it kind of shits over the whole idea of T2, so it always rubbed me the wrong way. I did Arnold, like, they try to replicate the scene in Terminator 2, where his dad did his clothes, but here, instead of a bar, it's like male Chippendale dancers and talk to the hand, and I forget, was it a gay bar or was it just a strip club with male dancers? I can't even remember now. And just with Arnold, you tell he's getting old. He was too old to play him in Terminator 3, let alone later on. Yeah, I did it with the Stanton age. But there's other roles Arnold could have played than just the Terminator over and over again. Or if you don't be the Terminator, how about you go back to being a bad guy again? But no, he doesn't want to do that. Why? For the kids? Terminator was never meant for kids. It's another thing they got wrong. Like Terminator 3, I keep forgetting is rated R because it's a very tame R rating, except the moment where the Terminatrix kills the guy from behind. But I'm like, it's just kind of a wannabe T-1000 moment at that. Even the lines of dialogue, like, you are terminated. Okay. I liked it better when Linda Hamilton said it, "You're Terminator, fucker," at the end of the first film, but whatever. The twist, I just see that being a big surprise back in the day. Like, you think they made it, oh my god, that was never the point to make it, it was just the point to get them to a place to survive Judgment Day. I'm sure people know, I was like, wow, that was ballsy. But again, to me, it's just like, oh, it makes what they did in Terminator 2 completely pointless. You know, I'm sick of fucking sequels doing that. Yes, there are exceptions to the rule. There are always exceptions to the rule. I'm just saying that's not what I prefer in a sequel, to make the previous film fucking pointless. Again, there are exceptions. Hell, I like Elm Street 4. Look what happened with the Dream Warriors in that. I know, there are exceptions, so you just look. Ned Stahl was fine as John Connor. Arnold, I don't think Arnold gave the best performance as the Terminator. He just seemed a bit tired or a bit off. I don't know how to put it. Just like, again, the humor involved, and has a couple fun action sequences. Which is more I could say with Terminator Genisys and Terminator Dark Fate. I had to sit there and go, well, which do I like less? Dark Fate, I think because of its opening, I put that last. Genisys is awful too. They both suck Monty cock and Donkey dick at the same time. Both of those movies can blow me. Genisys, or as I call it, Sega Genisys, you have the smallest fucking this movie blew my mind. I can't remember characters' names. You have the tiniest Sarah Connor fucking history. So tiny you're afraid you don't step on her. We reworked the timeline so Terminator 1 and 2 don't exist anymore. And okay, it's trying to be this bold effort where, whoa, Kyle Reese is alive again. And it's like, you know what? You could rework it and then somehow jump ahead of time and then just have Linda Hamilton and Michael Biehn as those characters. And okay, here's a way we can bring Michael Biehn back. No, instead, let's really embarrass the Terminator from the first movie by having it get killed so fucking easily. With horrible fucking CGI. Let's have another T-1000. Okay, it's Asian, but it's in another fucking cop uniform. They want to go back to the first one. They want to change things. But was it really for the better? Was it a more entertaining film? No. The actors, I didn't give a shit about Jai Courtney or I already forgot who the fuck played Sarah Connor. That's how little shits I gave of her. The two of them arriving at a timeline, they both get hit by a fucking car, but they don't even have a fucking scratch. Because I guess when you get hit by cars, you don't get hurt at all. At least none with fucking scratches or bruises. Arnold, when they get arrested, and he's like, "Bad boys, what you gonna do playing on the fucking soundtrack?" While Arnold's like, oh, you could maybe have a potential interesting idea with Arnold. Now he's a T-1000 ability. Nah, he's become that. We'll say that for a sequel, which doesn't get made. Why the fuck didn't they just send an Arnold, a Terminator that looked like Arnold but had a T-1000 capability from the beginning? Why didn't they just do that? If you don't have Arnold back. But what do I know? I always thought, well, what about the human version of Arnold? I don't mean fucking Sergeant Tandy in that deleted scene in Terminator 3. I mean, how about a human version of Arnold join with characters and fighting the Terminators? I think that'd be cool. Get to know about the Arnold playing an actual fucking character with emotions and heartache and a past. Maybe it could be a redemption tale. Maybe it could be any other sort of tale. That'd be different too, movie. No, just have him play no Terminator. We gotta show, hey, the skin will age, so that's why he's so old. They always have to find a fucking explanation as to why he's so old. Well, he came back to this timeline. He waited for 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. That's why he's so old. It's like we gotta work around his fucking age. You know what? Maybe don't have him play the fucking character anymore. Or don't do any more fucking Terminator films. And then it kind of becomes Terminator 2 yet again. We gotta go to this place like we did in T2. We gotta destroy the evidence to maybe stop Judgment Day again. The twist here is that, well, John Connor himself gets killed or taken over. So now we're getting to the realm where we don't need John Connor anymore. Here, we don't need John Connor anymore. He's taking over. He's turned. He's now a Terminator. I don't have any emotional gravitas to it because is that fucking Nick Stahl in T3? Or Edward Furlong in T2. It's a completely different actor who just called John Connor. And just I don't know, like the effects are not as good considering the budget. I don't give a shit about the cast members, the stupid fucking humor, the storyline. I think this element is like, okay, we're going with the T2 yet again. What more can you do? Exactly. Maybe you should not do any more fucking Terminator stories if there's no more story to tell. Dark Fate, I put that as the worst because that really is like get rid of John Connor at the beginning and then we're going to do the same fucking story, only it's with a bunch of chicks instead of a bunch of dicks because they got no dicks. Mexican Terminator. That's how I call Dark Fate, the Mexican Terminator. Let's kill off John Connor and an insulting beginning going, hey, you really want to showcase that T2 didn't fucking matter? Here you go. And James Cameron signed up on it. He signed off on that. He should know better. People did that to him with Alien 3, but he does it to his own fucking franchise with Terminator Dark Fate. Oh, kill off Newt and Hicks and Alien 3? Fuck Alien 3. I agree. But no, let's kill off John Connor. That's okay though, James Cameron? Jimmy fucking Cammy? Oh, let's get the director of Deadpool. Will it show me who the fuck made Deadpool successful wasn't the fucking director, because it didn't do shit. His action scenes sucked. They had no life to them. Didn't give a fuck about the effects. Didn't give a fuck about the story. It's just Terminator but in Mexico. Just trying to be a bunch of fucking T2 shit. Ripped off. Arnold, he's now a goddamn decorator or hairdresser or fluffer or fucking porn star. I don't fucking know what the fuck the character was at the end. Some stupid fucking job. And now he has a fucking family. Yeah, that's funny. I remember in Terminator something about no remorse. As well as no pain and no fear. But no remorse. But no. Someone died and he felt sorry for it. I thought that was one of the fucking primary functions of a fucking Terminator. That's what I was told. But apparently he felt sorry and then adopted a fucking family. Was a stupid bullshit. Makes no fucking sense. And James Cameron again signed on it. He signed off it. He said, yeah, that's fine. A Terminator having a fucking family is fine? James Cameron lost his balls in the divorce with Linda Hamilton. And you know, Linda Hamilton, she couldn't save it. She could not save it. Fucking Wokenator, woke garbage Terminator. The fucking lead girl has no goddamn charisma. The one Terminator gal looked like fucking Justin Bieber. I didn't give a shit about her either. At least not that much. Maybe in a better movie, I don't know. Linda Hamilton, just her going off the rails. Obviously because she lost her son, so she's a bit crazy because of that. But part of me is like, goddamn, Sarah Connor's become more a fucking liability than an ally. It's like we have Linda Hamilton back. Hopefully that will get people back in the theater to see Darth Vader. No, because people are tired of fucking Terminator movies. Maybe by then people have realized, don't make any Terminator films. There's no fucking point. The same fucking story over and over again. You have no more stories to tell, obviously, with Terminator. So, why do you continue to make fucking Terminator films? Stop trying to rip off T2. If you desperately have to rip off something, rip off T1. Rip off Terminator 1 for one time. If you gotta rip something off, make a horror film again. Or just don't do any fucking more. The Sarah Connor Chronicles, I honestly don't remember much about, so I didn't put it in there, because that wouldn't be fair. So with movie-wise, ranking, I think the first one's the best one, then T2, then Salvation, then T3, then Genisys, then Dark Shit, Dark Fate, Dark Fuck Stick, whatever. So, that's my ranking of Terminator. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.